TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
We had a little technical difficulty, so we had to shut it down and reboot it, but we back now. Hopefully you still with us. Check this out. We was talking about Trump, King Robert. What was our last topic?
The new topic was, who is the president talking to when he says go home or go back to where you're from?
Okay, now I was about to go off on my little tangent about the president of Puerto Rico. In case you didn't know, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, so our president is Puerto Rico's president. It was a little satire, a little play on words. AOC's heritage is Puerto Rico. Trump's mother was an immigrant, and his grandfather was an immigrant. AOC's lineage has been American longer than his. So who would need to go home?
Yeah, but look how he looks, though.
Omar, who is a naturalized citizen, I think she's been a citizen longer than the First Lady, Melania. So who needs to go home? If you can find the video of Omar saying any of the squad, anybody in Congress, period, on either side, saying they hate America and saying that Al-Qaeda or praising Al-Qaeda, please send it, because I have not seen that. Now, I did see where Omar said that when people say Al-Qaeda, it has a certain fear to it, and when people say America, it doesn't. But I don't see that as hating America or praising Al-Qaeda. That's just me, though. Maybe my vision is messed up or my hearing or something.
So,
but if you find that, show me, please.
Question for the table here. Now, the statement, go back to where you're from. Do you think that's a racist comment? Because that's the big thing. A lot of people saying this is a big racist comment. So what do we think at the table? Is that a racist comment? Go back to where you're from.
If I may tackle that one. I don't think, by no means am I saying Donald J. Trump is or is not a racist. But I'm saying that statement is not a racist statement in my opinion. It may be, is it xenophobic? Or is it, what's the one where you think your country, ethnocentric, whatever it is. It's that. But it's not racist because, in my opinion, it's not racist. I'm not saying he's not racist, but to say go back to, basically he was saying they need to go clean up the countries they come from before they start suggesting what to do in this country.
Three of them were from here.
New York,
Three of them
from
are from
Cincinnati.
Not from there.
One from
their origins. That's what he was saying.
Right.
But he's dumb. He's too dumb to understand, or he didn't care to find out that they were actually U.S. citizens.
No, it's not that he didn't care to find out. It's just he sees Americans as white people.
Boom.
He's pointing out that colored people. No, he's saying that colored people, because again, let me get to it. Colored people, because it's a rainbow, man. It's a lie. It's a yellow. All of us.
Rainbow.
Three of those people are from this country, born and raised, and he said that they weren't American because they don't look like what he thinks America is.
Right. So he's referring to whatever their ancestry is. That's what he's telling them to go back to.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think he's referring to anybody that's not Caucasian. I'm saying anybody, if you're not Caucasian, then that statement,
that's
no love.
That's his stupidity.
I have said it, and I will continue to say it, that black and white started as races by Congress. I want to say in the 1600s, but I might be wrong on a specific time. It had to do with slavery, indentured servitude, and the black and whites intermingling. Congress did not like the Africans being with the German, the English, the so on and so forth women. So they made it to where that their children would be indentured servants or slaves. That pretty much started the whole black-white as races. Before then, you were African. You were wherever you're from. That's where basically you were called. That's why Germans and Germans, the Irish A lot of people have gone through nonsense over here because they say, go home. Anytime you're new, go home. Or the last people go home. And when I was in high school, I've seen go back to Africa or send black people back to Africa. First of all, Africa don't want stolen goods. Second of all, when people wanted to go home, they wouldn't let them.
Right.
Third of all, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. I am home. I mean, yeah.
Right. King Robert asks us, knowing where we're from, what's our opinion and how do we take it? I'm from here, and I took it as it was a racist comment.
And so did I.
Now keep in mind that the comment came on the heels of a fight between Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi. The reason being they was fighting because Nancy Pelosi opposed, so did these 4 Democratic congresswomen, they opposed the immigration and customs enforcement officers were preparing to do a migrant roundup of families, that was over here that already had deportation orders filed against them. So they was opposed to it. So in his words, if you don't like that I'm giving out this order, then go home. Racist to me, and that's my opinion.
I'm gonna say straight up, I find it's a racist comment, and even in the federal government's equal opportunity laws, they show an example. They show examples, and the first example in the whole thing is go back to where you from. That is what they use as an example, as a racist statement while working. So yes, I think it's obvious. Obviously, it's a racist statement. And just so we can have all the names out there, he was saying this to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
AOC,
Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Presley, and Rashida Tlaib.
I'd like to give a shout out to Mika, to Chris Merritt for watching. We appreciate you. Yeah.
All of those Democrat, by the way.
Yeah, Democratic and dark-skinned. Yeah.
Female.
And all actuality, a 70-plus-year-old Democrat, he may have been a Republican, but a 70-year-old asked AOC, he tweeted that he wanted to be a part of the squad. She said, hell no. I'm just playing. She said, come on, bro. You're welcome. I mean, if you notice how active the squad is, that's why I think that we should have younger. The squad don't sit back and watch things and make crazy comments. The squad goes down to Texas. They went down there to see what was going on. They didn't just listen to what's happening on CNN or Fox or any other news network. And that's why I like them. That's why I'm a fan of them, because of how active they are. Vet Williams-Bell, we see you, little sister.
Now, also, this is what was said to these 4 congresswomen, and the House brought it up to vote on it to say if they thought that it was a racist statement said towards these women, which is, again, I think obvious. Now, out of the Republican Party, 4 out of 197 Republicans voted against Trump on this. Just 4 out of 197. That's not enough.
That's a small percentage.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, and
what this led to later on after his tweet about going back home, he had a rally, and at this rally, the group started cheering, "Send her home, send her home." And when they asked Donald Trump how he felt about it, he said he thought it was horrible. He didn't like that they said it, even though he had said it before. But then he said that he stopped them by talking. If you go and watch it, he sat there for 14 seconds while the one I saw 14 seconds while these people cheered, send her home. And I'm just going to say this rally, I mean, it sounds like some stuff straight out of Hitler playbook. And I know people saying they don't want to compare it, but I mean, if it walk like a duck, talk like a duck, I'm sorry, that's a duck.
Walk like Hitler. Dolores Peoples, thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Now, as he was saying on the rally, he said that he immediately started talking shortly thereafterwards to calm the crowd and to stop them from saying that, because he didn't approve of it. Now, I saw him walk off and stand there and look and, and revel in it for 13 seconds. And then after he said that, he later doubled down on it and said that no, that those people were patriotic Americans and just expressing themselves. So he agreed with it.
Whatever happened to just integrity among just a little bit of integrity among politicians. I remember when Obama and McCain were debating, right? And one of the ladies at the McCain rally popped up and said, "He's a Muslim. He's an Arab." That's what he said. He's an Arab. McCain was like, basically he was saying, "Sit down, idiot." But he was polite. He was like, "Ma'am, nope, you're wrong." He took the mic from her.
Exactly.
He's like, "He's a good family man. I just have opposing views from him. Blah blah. Let's keep it to that." Like that's what you're supposed to. That's what it's supposed to be about. Not trying to race bait and. Man, I tell you.
No, that's a great example of showing that. And then AOC had to do the same thing because Donald Trump swore he stopped them in seconds. So she was doing an interview about what happened at the rally, and one of the guys who was on stage with her was, on the opposite side. And so one of the guys in the audience like screamed out, called him an idiot, and she was like, "Nope, stop!" She was like, "That's not acceptable," and that's what makes me different from Donald Trump. And she said a lot with just those little words. That's what sets a lot of people apart from Donald Trump.
She said that's what makes me different from Donald Trump?
That's how she finished it. She said, "That's what makes me different from Donald Trump." She stopped a heckler who was in her crowd from going after somebody on the other side, because that's not the way to handle the situation. It turns into, like we saw in the rally, a big racist,
just hooting and hollering and a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly on a bunch of nonsense. When you get those large crowds of people, and they didn't really go into the story, but after the rally, an African-American female was walking, and the crowd, or a few people in the crowd, told her that she needs to go back to Africa. To me, that's a direct correlation with what was happening inside. It carries over. It carries a certain weight to it. And we don't need to incite that type of nonsense, because you're putting people's lives in danger. I mean, we don't want a race war. Nobody wants any kind of nonsense like that. But nobody's going to, this is not the 40s or whatever, when people were being hung and felt like that it was just okay or letting it happen. People are going to shoot back if nonsense pops off. And Lord knows that I'm not advocating that and don't want it to happen. But
just don't come
on
to his
that
house.
same note, nobody's going to deal with that nonsense. It's done. I mean, that time period is over. To say that bring back anything to me is ridiculous. First of all, we're not going back to fossil fuels. That's nonsense. We need to go ahead and try to invent the new thing and make new jobs like that. Once upon a time, downtowns were the center of finance for most cities. People would go downtown and spend money at this store, that store, and this store, and so on and so forth. But Walmart's, Target's, Amazon, all of them have taken that. So find a way to make money around it. Find a way to draw those companies or those businesses to your community. Start making things over here that we selling to people over here. But to say we're going back is just not realistic. So to listen to that nonsense and to vote for somebody who's saying it, they're just feeding you garbage to feed the rich.
And you're only as strong as your leader. Now, if your leader is talking the way that he's talking, and he's saying the things that he's saying, the American people, not all of them, but the majority of the American people feel like, if my president is saying this and he's getting away with it, it must be okay.
Exactly. That's what we were talking about earlier.
They are following Donald Trump's lead, because through American history, Donald Trump has been the most disrespectful, racial, aggressive president that this country has ever seen.
Have you noticed?
That's my main problem.
Anytime somebody says something about Donald Trump, how he attacks him. I mean,
course,
he
no
called.
matter who it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
He called the senator who said, "I have the gavel." African American older lady. He called her ignorant, and she's one of the most educated people in Congress.
Yeah.
But he attacks people constantly, and then somebody comes to explain what he meant. Why is somebody so outspoken needs spokespeople to come around and explain what he means?
Because
he says what he
He's
means.
lived his whole adult life in a bully mentality. And that's the way he's treating the presidency. So he's got all the puppets around him that have to speak for him, that they know how to actually speak and know how to, be politicians, and he doesn't, so they have to clean up every dumb thing he says.
John McCain is a war hero. I did not agree with all of John McCain's politics by no stretch of the imagination, but I will not try and shit on the man's legacy. The man was a war hero. He's a pilot who was captured. He came back and joined the Senate, and and joined Congress. I'm not sure if he was House Representative or the Senate. I think he was a senator.
Senate.
Yeah, he was a senator. And he was doing everything he could to make America better. The man sit up there, and even though he and President Obama disagreed, they still talk. They still hold a respectful dialogue to try to figure out what they could do to make America the best America should be. And that's what I feel like the whole set of Congress and the president needs to be.
That's a grown man.
How can somebody down John McCain, who had these self-healing shin splints, who dodged the war? I mean, seriously, how can we have that kind of respect for him and we disrespect a war hero? That's un-American.
And I want to say, I know out first, I think the black female senator you were talking about was Miss Maxine Waters.
There you go, Miss Maxine Waters.
He went after Miss Maxine Waters. But I want to, on the four that he was talking about, go back where you're from. Ilhan Omar is from Somalia. Ilhan Omar, she's from Somalia. Now, I will say, living here in Atlanta, growing up in middle school, I went to school with a lot of people from Somalia and from Bosnia who were getting away from the wars that were going over there.
Right.
And my friend Savad from Somalia, he told me about what he saw and what was going on over there. That is, and horrible stuff that kids who were in the 5th and 6th grade at the time really shouldn't be around. Really, you don't want your kids over there. And for him to say, go back to those places, he knows why those people left. He know why they're here. And if this is the place you choose to build your life at, I think you're already saying that you think America pretty good, and you're happy to be here.
It took 4 years for her to get her citizenship. 4 years after she tried.
Yeah, he has no filter, and he has no
whatsoever.
Common sense.
And he's running the United States as though it was The Apprentice.
I feel you on that. You're fired.
You cannot, absolutely. You cannot run the United States as The Apprentice because
that's how he's been living his life for
fashion, these are the lives of American people.
He's been living his life like that for decades.
Yes.
And we got to live life and run to break. We'll be back in a second. Man, this is getting good. What's up, NC? We see you.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call Taking My Community Back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved.
Hi, I'm Harry Lennox, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network.
Hi, this is Bill Duke, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network.
Welcome back, family. Look, we were just talking about. We got to go to the next subject. I'm sorry. I want to jump back into it, but we got to go to the next one. So, come on, King Robert. What's the next subject?
The last one we were asking what the president meant when he said "go back home,"
Yeah,
and now
but we can't talk about that. We got.
I hear you. I'm just trying to do a little,
a little patchwork.
patchwork. So now the question that is on everybody's mind: are we in a Cold War/Silver War?
Now, a Cold War means a war that we're not using guns with, so we're not out there shooting each other, but are we using so much divisive rhetoric to where we're attacking each other, to where it's black against white, Hispanics against black, Hispanics against white, black against Hispanic, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Angela.
Cold War within the United States?
Yes. Angela, I agree with you wholeheartedly. There is only one race, and that's the human race. However, it's so indoctrinated into our culture that it's kind of hard to ignore. I mean, people laugh when I say that there's only one race, that all human beings started in Africa. The oldest bones, if you go scientifically, the oldest bones were found in Africa. Therefore, the oldest human bones. Therefore, all human life had to derive from there. Now, as people drifted off to different areas, they started to look different, but we're still all from the same lineage. Now, people can believe what they want to believe. You can study genetics. In genetics, then darker skin is a dominant trait. Lighter skin is a recessive trait. You can get a recessive trait from the dominant, but you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. Therefore, if we all started from a lighter people, none of us would have ever gotten dark. It's just an impossibility. So, I mean, come on. I'm just being real, just being scientific. But no, back to the topic. I'm sorry, I got into my tangents.
Oh, that fits the topic. Are we in a Cold War?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't believe we are in any great danger. We're not in any war, so to speak. I think that the pressure, if we've gotten any, would be from the Iranian shooting down our drone. And here recently, we shot down one of their drones. The Iranian people are going back and forth with our president simply because of that. Now, North Korea, we had a little persistence with them using practice missiles to launch their missiles as practice, and we're trying to get them to stop doing that. But as far as being in any type of Cold War at that instance, I don't think we are in immediate danger thus far.
I think you have the question a little misconstrued. Cold War, as in, are we fighting ourselves through words?
Or civil
are
war.
we going through, a civil war within
Yes.
America?
Okay,
Not anybody outside of America, but
okay.
inside of America.
Then yes.
Because the
Yes,
Klan,
yeah.
have you noticed the numbers in the Klan has risen? The number of Nazis has risen. I mean, yeah, it really
I
has.
haven't been
And the number
following
of
that.
gun sales have
You've
risen.
been following that?
I have not.
Yeah,
I have.
haven't been following. Anybody been following?
I follow everything. I
haven't
can't help
followed
it.
that.
I will say I got a couple of numbers dealing with hate crimes.
Uh-huh.
So from 2016, when Trump was brought in, till 2017, I don't have the numbers up for this year yet, of course. So hate crimes based off race. 2016, 3,489. Since Trump took over, 4,131. So almost about 800 more. Religion hate crimes has gone from around 1,200 to 1,500. Sexual orientation has gone from 1,076 to 1,130. Disability attacks have gone from 70 to 116. And gender, based off gender, 31 to 46. So we see a rise in all of those. And an interesting one is the disability one, because he did go on TV and he was like making fun of disabled people.
Right.
So and again, that's one of those things. Well, if the president gets on TV and acts like it's all right,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
These people the people who committed those crimes have always felt that way for a while. It's not like he created these people. But like you said, when you see the president on TV encouraging these people,
Right.
To whatever, throw these dudes out, go back to your country, throw these dudes out, whatever. They're, whatever he called them. I forget what he
Females.
called them. Huh?
They're females.
Females.
Yeah. The people. Oh, you mean throw them out the rally? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Whatever he called those people. But once they see that, they're like, man, that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
It must be all right, like you said, Minister. It must be all right if the president's doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he knows that's the thing that's crazy. He knows what his words do. He knows who he's affecting when he says these things. He knows who people are going to react to it certain in violent ways, and it's so irresponsible, especially for anybody, but especially as a president.
Yeah.
When he told the police officers it was okay to bang people's head on the top of the car when they put them in the car.
Right.
I mean, those people haven't been convicted. That's not how America works. We don't. Our judicial system does not say that the police are there to exact revenge or to be the executioner. The police are there for people to get their day in court.
And it's crazy because people are still, they're so entrenched in conservatism, quote unquote, or being a Republican. They still try to make excuses for this guy. They
Yeah,
just make
exactly.
excuses for this dude. He's like an imbecile. And he's running the country. And people are like,
over the
oh, well,
last
Obama
5
would have
years.
did. They always go back to
Absolutely.
what Obama did. Donald Trump did this. He's a misogynist. He's racist. Whatever. Well, Obama said this. Like, that has nothing to do with this
Absolutely.
man.
And over the last 5 years, and I'm glad you correct me on that question. Over the last 5 years, we have been in Cold Wars, but not with the American people or blacks and white. It's been with the policemen. You know,
Yeah, I ain't think like that. You're right on that one.
You know, shooting, getting away with it. You know, these horrible crimes.
5
against,
years, father.
Citizens. You know, so of course, yes.
Go back and read.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, go back and read Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech.
Yeah.
They like to take out certain excerpts, but Martin Luther King talked about the police bashing us upside the head even in that speech. How long ago was that? And it's still going on today without any repercussions.
And I know with the Civil War, we're talking about looking at our own country, but I think you brought up some good stuff with looking at the other countries. Even with the Iran, we had an Iran nuclear war. We had to deal with them.
Right.
And I'm not saying that the deal was going to fix everything or last or was what everybody wanted, but to come out and say we stepping out of the deal and not have a backup plan, already talked to their leaders was just stupid. But the place I want to talk about a civil war is with our allies, our allies around the world. Now, I think this guy, Trump, puts us in a dangerous spot because when stuff goes wrong in the world, it's not just us working, it's America with Canada, with Mexico, with UK, and all of our allies, Japan, all our allies around the world that were set after World War II. He has been destroying all of those.
Relationships, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
any of those people decide to make another Axis power or something against us, one, I can barely say that they will be wrong for it because we're showing that we're not reliable when it comes to our agreements. And so I can understand them making that change, and that could change the whole world power.
And especially the ones that Obama went to the table to get us allied with. Trump is separating those allies strongly because Obama put it together.
Crazy,
the majority of the allies that Obama put together, he has disenfranchised them, and now they don't even want to deal with us.
Well, they don't want to deal with him. I think when somebody else is in office, then hopefully those relationships can be restored.
Hopefully,
because
though. But he represents us. And if it's for 4 more
absolutely
years,
what
who
we
knows
got
when that's
right
going to
now.
I hope it's not. I mean, I can only hope. But we talked about him and Obama. He hates Obama. I mean, it's so crazy to me how people want to get rid of Obamacare and replace it with nothing. That means millions of people who have things like diabetes would just lose all their medical care. It's like you hate Obama more than you love your feet. I mean, seriously, is it really that deep? I mean, really. And then on top of that, when Obama talked about talking to North Korea, it was a crap storm.
Yep.
I mean, people acted like he was just. Then when Trump goes to do it, it's okay. I mean, come
People
on,
like
really?
Hannity and all of those on Fox
Sean
News,
Hannity.
they
They align
backed
themselves
him
with the
up
Republican
like.
president. I don't care if it was that camera over there. They align themselves with no matter what they said. Those, those pundits.
And that's one of the big problems. I feel like this civil war and all this, that's why the Republican Party, I feel, is such a big part of this. And for those people who voted those people in to represent them, they have to take some hard looks at that. And I know it comes down to us and voting, but I'm a vote for the person who's not about all this stuff, and I need other people, and we all need other people to do the same thing. Right. You can't be vote.
Did you see Bernie Sanders, cool old cat, said that he was trying to talk about reparations. And Mitch McConnell's retarded behind, excuse me, you can't say retarded, I apologize, mentally ignorant behind, said Obama was president and that was reparations. That's what I swear for goodness I'm not making this up.
No, I remember.
He said that, reparations, well, Obama was president, so that was reparations. Wow. So the billions of dollars that America made on cotton was made up for by electing President Obama. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. We appreciate it. Okay.
So the moral and the key is to go and vote and make your vote count. Just like
every time the polls open.
We voted for Obama in 2008. I think that we should do the same thing for our Democratic Party and go out and vote and make your vote count, because you can sit home and you can watch CNN News, you can watch the Fox network and still not be accounted for. As an American citizen, you have every right to vote. Keep in mind that convicted felons now have the right to vote. You know, as long as you're not on active parole or active probation, you can vote and make your vote be counted. So a lot of you ex-felons or cons that feel that, well, hey, I'm not going to go vote because I can't vote.
Why can't you even vote if you're on parole or probation? Like, why does that disqualify?
Well, it does. The reason why I have no idea.
Yeah,
Because that's the law. That's how the law is made.
Right.
I mean,
If you're
disagree with that law. They should be able to vote
active parole or active probation, you cannot vote until you come off of it.
Yeah.
But once you come off of it, then you can go just like any registered voter and go vote and make your vote count. It's not too late. You paid your debt to society. Now go vote and make it better.
And that's a good point, to go out and vote. And I want to touch on some Doc was saying about Mitch McConnell saying that, you know, that Obama was our reparations. Now, and this is I want you to think about the mindset of people who say stuff like this. That was our reparations. We got out and voted for Obama. We are the reason he became president.
Yes.
But that was his reparations to us. Now, also Trump, when he was talking about the four ladies and he was talking about Miss Omar, he was like, she's lucky to be where she is, as if she's lucky because he's letting her and allowing her to be there. There's a certain mindset that some of these people have, that the stuff that even if you work for it, you go through hell for it, you're lucky to get it because they've allowed you to have it.
Right.
Well, some people feel like they own everything, and they feel like anything that you have is because of their good graces, you know, so, yeah.
Everything that you have or that you possess, it comes from God anyway. Always remember that God gives to those who ask, you know, and blessings come from above. So if you are blessed with a voice, a lot of us are blessed with a voice to sing, a voice to preach, a voice to talk, a voice to sit behind these tables as we do and bring this to you. It's truly a blessing.
While we were talking about voting, I wanted to touch on this. Right now we have about 20 Democratic people who are trying to run for office. Now it's going to be narrowed down to one before. Right. However, think about it for a moment. If we listen to all the people, which we definitely should, but once that one is decided, if you write in another ones, they're not going to win. Yeah, exactly. And you're dividing up the number of votes for the one who's running. So regardless of whom you vote for, think about your vote. I wouldn't tell you who to vote for or who not to vote for. I would just say it like this. Trump is the people who are in the Republican Party, or the people who are going to vote for Trump, not necessarily the Republican Party, because there are a lot of Republicans who don't like Trump. But the people who are going to vote for Trump, they're not divided. They're all going to vote for Trump. The people who are voting the other way, some may vote and write Sanders' name in if he's not. Some may write Biden's name in. Some may write AOC's name in. I know I was thinking about it. However, that just divides up the total of the person who's running against Trump. And that may equal Trump being president again.
How many votes does it take?
It takes more in the different areas.
To make it count, how many votes does it take?
It takes your vote.
Absolutely, it takes your vote. Just one vote. If you had 1 million zeros, you still wouldn't have none. But it takes one vote, and that's all you should be accountable for, is your one vote.
And you got to think about it. No matter where you are, you need to go and vote, because Trump had 1.8 million less votes than Hillary. But who's president again?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And I
so
will
watch
say,
what you say.
Guys, you should know that in this country, we have already made a choice. There's more Democrats than there are Republicans. And when we actually, if the number who came out for Obama were to come out for whoever the next Democratic person is, it's won automatically, just as the numbers game.
Right. And just to reinforce what Doc said, though, that's a good point, though. When your person doesn't get in, if you're voting against Trump, and you write in somebody else, or if you're like, I'll put his name in anyway, that's just throwing one vote basically for Trump. And, you know, you're taking one vote away from whoever's running against him.
Hey, Jerry, thank you for watching. We appreciate all you firefighters out of New York, and we hope that you get those benefits that you so richly deserve for the 9/11 or for anything else, because you guys are true heroes.
And Rand Paul was the person who shot that down. Put his name out there again. Rand Paul. Rand Paul.
We got to go. Tune in next Sunday at 6:30. Also watch the talk show Divas that come on at 4:30 on Sundays. Also, The Flavor comes on Wednesdays, and we're coming at you live from TV 1061. TV 1061, look it up on YouTube. We're now on YouTube, so check us out there as well. You can also, share it with people and tell them about us. We'd appreciate it. We'd like to give a shout out to Felix Washington, our executive producer, Marcus, our technical director. Thank you, sir. We just want to give a shout out, and we got mad love for you who watch the show. If you have a different of opinion, we won't knock you. I would appreciate your conversation.
Encourage it.
Yeah. Talk to us, all right? We see you, Dolores Peoples, Jerry, Angela, Jason. We give a shout out to everybody who watches. And if you don't watch and you hear about us and watch it later time, we give a shout out to you anyway.
Thank you for tuning in. I want to give a shout out to my church, Travelers Missionary Baptist Church in Rex. Thank you, Pastor Paul, for everything, and we love you, and to my beautiful wife, Natalie.
Boom, black love. I love that young man. Give a shout out to a woman. I ain't mad at you.
See y'all next week.
Peace, fam.
Peace.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.